Hi guys, Palabo here. Well, we came to the end of season 5 of the Radio Vagabond, where you could travel with me through the eastern half of Europe. We started on a nomad cruise in the Mediterranean from Malaga to Athens, and then I slowly made my way up. Of course, you can go back and listen to those episodes anytime you like, but while I'm working on the next season of the Radio Vagabond, I'll give you some flashback episodes. Episodes that you might have missed. And remember, you can see a lot of pictures of what you hear on the radiovagabond.com. I'll put a direct link to this episode in the show notes. And then we kick off season 6 from North America, US, Canada, and Mexico, Wednesday, March 3rd. Okay, in this first flashback, we're going back to Japan. This is episode 43 and was recorded April 2017. Enjoy. Before we start this episode, I just want to get you up to date on how much of a logistical thing it is to be a traveling digital nomad.
Meet Palabo, a digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world, documenting everything along the way. This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
Beside me is my daughter Clara, and we're still in South Korea. We're on the island of Jeju, and we're about to embark on the last leg of our journey together, which is
Japan.
You needed to think about that.
No, I was like, should I say Tokyo, Japan? What do I
Japan,
say?
yeah. And we've been really looking forward to that and trying to get the timing right so it would be cherry blossom season. And that's something we talked about, that Amanda, your big sister, she really was a little bit envious of us going to Japan. She's like you and me. She's always had a thing about, I so want to go to Japan.
Exactly.
So when we were in Cambodia, it was her birthday, and I decided to splurge and give her a trip to Japan to join us for the last 2 weeks. So it was actually quite easy on paper. We were going to Japan. Amanda would join us. We'd spend 2 weeks together, and you would go back to Denmark together, and I'll continue my journey. So that was the easy journey plan.
Sounds pretty easy, yeah.
Sounds pretty easy. But then the whole thing started, because I wanted you to get on the plane together and fly back to Denmark together. But it was not, when I found the return ticket from Denmark to Japan and from Japan to Denmark for Amanda, I wanted to find a one-way ticket for you on the same flight, but that didn't show up in the results. No matter how much I tried, I couldn't get a single one-way ticket for you on the same flight. But then a one-way flight was only slightly cheaper than to buy a return ticket. So I decided to buy 2 return tickets, and then the seat beside Amanda from Denmark to Japan would just be empty.
Yeah.
But then a friend of mine, when we got to China, a friend of mine said, you need to be careful, because when you don't use the first leg of your journey, the airline company will cancel the rest of the flight. And I thought, well, that can't be right. But then I looked in the fine print, and sure enough, there it was. It's that whole fine print that you never read. You just accept the conditions. But then I called the company that sold this ticket, and they said, that's right. The rest of the ticket will be canceled if you don't show up for the first leg of the journey. But they said you can try calling the airline company. So I did, and they said the same thing. And there's no way. I thought, if only they knew before that you were not going to be on the flight, and they could even you could even sell the ticket to someone else.
Yeah, that would be good for them.
Yeah, but they said no, it's not possible. The only thing we can do is cancel your ticket, and they canceled the one ticket, and I only got half of the money back. So that was money well spent. Not. And then I needed to find a one-way ticket for you. When I bought the ticket for Amanda, I just searched for airports close to Tokyo, and I didn't really know much about how far it was from Tokyo, but it turned out that it was actually 3-4 hours away from Tokyo in a city called Nagoya. And
the ticket I got for you was from an airport on the other side of Tokyo, east of Tokyo. So you're not flying on the same flight. You're not even flying from the same airport.
No.
You're flying around the same time.
That's
but
at least.
yeah, but Amanda is going Nagoya, and then Hong Kong, and then Heathrow in London, and then Billund in Denmark.
Yeah.
And you are going...
I'm going to Moscow and Barcelona and then Copenhagen.
And then getting on a train back to the hometown. And you'll be back in Denmark around the same time. Is it... How long is it? 30 hours later?
I don't know.
You got some nasty times when you have to be in Barcelona the whole night.
I think 9 hours or something.
And I think Amanda's got really long stopovers as well. But that's not the whole story, because then we wanted to find a place to stay. We were looking in Tokyo first, but things are expensive in Tokyo and in Japan in general. But hotels was out of the question. I looked for some Airbnb, and they were also quite expensive in Tokyo. So I found one that was pretty good in about an hour's train ride from the center of Tokyo, close to Yokohama, and I booked that one for 13 nights. So that's pretty good. I even looked for hostels in Tokyo, and 3 of the hostels were only for male guests, and 1 was only for female guests, and that was the 4 that showed up when I looked for it. And before that, because this airport that Amanda's arriving at, we wanted to be there and pick her up, is so far away and close to Kyoto in Nagoya. We booked Nagoya Airbnb for 3 nights to start with. So we're getting there tomorrow. Let me just describe the day tomorrow. We'll leave this place in Jeju in South Korea at 6:30, and then we fly to Seoul, get on a train to the other airport in Seoul, and then fly to Osaka, get on a bus to Osaka City, and then get on another bus to Nagoya. And spend the night there. So we'll be there. It's going to be a long day tomorrow.
It's going to be a really long day.
Yeah, and then we go to Kyoto the day after. That means 2 days from now, on Tuesday. Back to Nagoya. Wednesday morning we go and pick Amanda up and spend a day in Nagoya with Amanda and get ready to get on a bus to Yokohama. So you see, there's so much that can go wrong.
So much.
And when you're leaving, I haven't told you this as well. When the day before my 2 daughters are leaving Japan, I'm leaving. I was asked to be a keynote speaker at a conference in Toronto, and for that I needed to leave the day before they leave. But so I'm ditching my 2 only daughters in Japan, alone in Japan, and flying to Toronto the day before they leave. And then Amanda has to leave the same night and go to Nagoya in order to spend the night there to be at the airport in the morning. It's not possible for her to go from Yokohama. Are you keeping up here? And then you spend the night alone in Yokohama, and the next day get on a train of some sort to your airport.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be fine.
It's yeah.
Yeah. This is
gonna be fine.
This is the kind of logistics that goes into being a digital nomad. And let's go to Japan. This is the Radio Vagabond podcast. This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels around the world. Hotels25.com. It's best price guaranteed. Okay, now it's Tuesday morning, and we left Jeju right on time. We were
driven to the airport by our Airbnb host at 6:30 in the morning, and everything through the airport went totally smooth. The security was fast, the whole check-in procedure, everything was so fast, and the plane was right on time. So we landed in Seoul, in Gimpo Airport, and went to the train, the metro, and went to the airport, the other airport in Seoul. And from there, it started becoming a little bit more challenging. We were flying with the T-Way Airlines, and so of course we went to the check-in desk, but there was a sign that said they opened at 10 minutes to 12, and it was around 11:15. So we went and had lunch and got back there, and by then there were a lot of people standing in the queue, so we got in line as well. And after 20 minutes waiting, I noticed that it didn't say Osaka on any of the signs, so I went and asked one of the people working there, are we standing the right place? I said, oh, no, you have to check in right at the airline next to us, Eastar Airlines, even though our ticket said T-Way. So we left that line and got into the other one, and a bit later a woman said, anyone going to Osaka, you need to get moving. So we got in front of the line and checked in, had to wait 5 minutes before our check-in luggage was scanned, so that they made sure that we had nothing in it that we weren't supposed to have. And then we went first through immigration to leave Korea. That took a long time. There were a lot of people standing in line. Then we went to the security, waiting a long time. A lot of people there too. And then we had to get on a shuttle train to another terminal, and by then we were cutting it close. We managed, however, to get to the gate in time, and then the plane was a little bit delayed. But that gave us some issues when we got to Japan. We landed in Osaka and needed to get to the center of Osaka. It's about an hour in a bus to get to the bus that we bought tickets to go to Nagoya. And first I needed to get some Japanese cash, so I was searching this terminal for an ATM, and I managed to find one in the complete other direction than where we came out, and I got some cash, and we found the bus, we got a ticket, we got on the bus, and then we came to downtown Osaka and needed to go to the bus terminal for the bus to Nagoya. And for that, we needed a taxi, which was kind of difficult to find, but we managed to get a guy to help us, and we got on the taxi, and we got to the place with the bus 1 minute before the bus to Nagoya. Whew, that was too close. Like I said in the beginning, a lot of things can go wrong, and a lot of things almost went wrong, but we made it, and we came to Nagoya last night, and right now it's Tuesday morning, and we're back on the bus, this time to go to Kyoto to see what a lot of people are calling the most beautiful city in Japan.
Kyoto is a historical city, and it was the capital of Japan for more than 1,000 years. It's a very beautiful city, and you really must go there if you're in Japan, especially if you can do it during cherry blossom season. It was just so beautiful. Kyoto is also very, very cultural. With more than 1,600 Buddhist temples and a number of UNESCO sites, buildings and artwork, Kyoto is very unique. We started in the middle of the city, close to Philosopher's Path, but we spent the most time around Fushimi Inari Shrine. That is most famous for its thousands of orange vermilion torii gates, the shrine gates, which straddle a network of trails behind the main buildings. This seemingly endless arcade of gates spread across this wooded mountain, and it is simply one of the most impressive and memorable sights in all of Kyoto, maybe in all of Japan. After that, we went to an area in the western part of Kyoto and took a stroll in the beautiful Japanese Sogenshi garden. If you know a little bit about how beautiful Japanese gardens can be, you might be able to imagine just how unique it was to walk around in this beautiful garden as the sun was setting behind the mountain. And then came the day where we were picking up my daughter Amanda at the airport.
For 4 months, I've been traveling with my youngest daughter, Clara. And right now, Clara and me, we're at the international airport at Nagoya, the central Japanese airport. And in a few minutes, my oldest daughter, Amanda, will join us for the next 2 weeks. We're standing at the arrival gate, just waiting for her to walk out the door. This is going to be so exciting.
In Nagoya, we found an Airbnb in walking distance to the train station. So the plan was this. This late afternoon, we would take the train to the airport. It's about an hour's train ride. We would pick up Amanda and then take the train back to the city and walk around in the area with Amanda, because this was the airport that she was flying out of 2 weeks later. Nagoya is around 3 hours away from Yokohama, and the flight was early in the morning, so there wasn't enough time for her to leave Yokohama and then go to the airport. So I booked the same Airbnb for her the night before her flight. And as a part of my paternal worry, I wanted to take her around in the area so that she could be familiar with it. Even though she's 23, she's still my little daughter, and I would not even think about what we should do if she got off the bus at the wrong place and wasn't able to find the apartment, or that she would get on the wrong train, or that something completely different would happen. Because at that time I would be on my way to Canada and not be able to help her. So that's why we just wanted to get her and get back to the city in a hurry before it got dark. But that did not happen. Before I continue, let me mention again that this episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels around the world. Hotels25.com, it's best price guaranteed. So we were standing there at the exit waiting for her for a long time. And then she called me from the other side of the wall. Her suitcase was not on the plane. This was not something I anticipated, and definitely not something that we needed right now. They told her that it would be there in 3 hours. When I'm saying lorte, it means oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. They also told her that they could deliver it in our apartment in Nagoya, but the challenge was that we had to leave for Yokohama early the next morning. So it had to be tonight, and we didn't want to take the chance that they weren't going to come with the suitcase before leaving Nagoya.
So her bag is not on the plane, and we're staying here until 20 minutes to 8. So
like 3 hours.
yeah, let's go and have something to eat in the departure hall.
So even though it was not part of the plan, we decided to stay at the airport for 3 hours instead of going back to Nagoya and getting familiar with the area. It was not what I wanted, but these things happened, and we just had to make the best of it. And then we were finally reunited.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe in iTunes or the podcast app on your smartphone. You can see pictures, watch videos, and read much more on theradiovagabond.com. Pale can be reached for interviews and public speaking gigs on mail at theradiovagabond.com.
Okay, now it's 3 hours later. Amanda has been reunited with her suitcase, and we spent the time in the airport talking, laughing, and eating sushi. Now we're on the train on our way back to the apartment in Nagoya, and tomorrow morning we are going on the bus to Yokohama, just outside of Tokyo, and we're so looking forward to that. My name is Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See you.